Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Newsgram. Today I have a story for you that is guaranteed to warm your heart. And just a warning, it might even make you cry. But to do that, I'm hoping you'll give me a little bit of latitude because I want to offer some perspective. While I'm sitting down to write this edition of Newsgram, there are news stories circulating about Israel and Gaza, the war between Ukraine and Russia, Trump's guilty verdict, and the aftermath of all of that, along with numerous natural disasters happening all over the world and the damage done by those. Then, there are our own personal struggles to consider over things like interest rates, gas prices, the economy. I'm sure you have personal issues of your own, like childcare, joblessness, or any number of things, and they're all creating tension for you over a backdrop of world chaos and political infighting. I mean, it's an election year after all, so there's that. And for just a moment, can we put a pin in all of that and listen to Miriam Steiner-Aviezer? She was born in 1935 in Yugoslavia to Jewish parents. In 1941, the Nazis invaded Yugoslavia. They arrested Miriam and her parents and forced them onto trains bound for a concentration camp in Croatia. Now, this is not the story of that horrific time. There's a different book for that. And fortunately, she and her parents survived the Holocaust. This is the story of her experience in the refugee camp.
No, it was a nice place. They did all the efforts to make us happy and to provide us a good and nice place to live in. But maybe they didn't understand our feelings and our mental situation. I just want to be alone all the time.
In case you aren't familiar, I'll give you a Wikipedia definition of a displaced persons camp, they call it. It was a temporary facility where unaccompanied children of all ages were gathered together and looked after until a more permanent situation could be found for them. Ideally, they would be reunited with their parents. Well, Miriam was one of those children, a scared little girl who just wanted to be left alone.
I was just a person that liked to be alone. I was just happy if they didn't join me in their singing and dancing. There was no one single thing that could move me.
Yeah, most people are pretty well-meaning. I mean, they try to encourage you to join in on activities and games, sing songs, things like that to take your mind off your troubles. But we all process grief differently. Some kids just want to be left alone, and it can be very hard to reach them. Now, we can argue all day long about Congress spending our money, but today, I just thought it would be nice to transport you back to a different time and reflect on an aid package sent out by the people of America to children living in this refugee camp in the aftermath of World War II.
I really admire people of America. I think that these are people, these Americans are so concerned about what is happening around them, and they are always ready to help, and they are always ready to share what they have with others.
Let's take a listen to an excerpt from the book Dear Mary. It was written and now being read by Miriam. It's about her experience and the thing that changed her life for the better.
Then one day, I found a big package on my bed. I was not sure it belongs to me, so I did not try to touch it. But they took all the things that were in the package and put it on my bed. When I was sure I was alone, I looked again at these things. There was candy, chocolate, toys, and a doll. I spent all that night only watching, touching, and smelling them until I finally decided to use them. I liked the doll the most. She was not new, but that's why I like her. Whoever sent it must have done it with a heavy heart, for she was giving away something very dear to her, something that was almost a part of her, and all that in order to please someone she did not know. The doll had blonde hair, she could turn her head, close her eyes and say, Mama. She had a nice red dress with white dots. She only had one white shoe, for the other one was missing. And on the bare foot was written with childish handwriting, Mary. Somehow I knew that this was not the name of the doll, but of the girl who sent it.
A doll with one shoe and the name Mary written on the other foot that got sent from America as part of a large care package, and it managed to reach just the right person.
I imagine a girl my age kissing her goodbye and putting her in that big box. This doll made a very long journey until she came to me. I took her in my arms and embraced her warmly. I thought I had at last met a dear friend of mine. From that day on, I was not alone, not lonely. I had my doll, which was special and mine alone, and I have a friend. It was you, Mary. I remember I was told it was a gift from the people of America. The people of America. It sounded so beautiful that I enjoyed repeating it on and on until it came to be a melody caressing my ears, and I began mumbling silently to myself, the people of America.
At the time, Miriam wanted to send a letter to Mary thanking her for this doll, but of course she didn't know Mary's address. And you can't just send a letter to America addressed to the people of America. So now, years later, she's published this book that will hopefully serve as that thank you.
Many years had passed since, and you, Mary, probably have a big family with children and grandchildren, just like me. I'm sure that you have forgotten about the package you have sent me many years ago, but I did not forget. All those years, all I wanted was to write a letter and to say, thank you, people of America.
So I was thinking, what a beautiful vision it would be for the actual Mary to read this book and know that her doll touched the life of some little girl that needed it so badly. But Miriam actually has a more important takeaway for us.
Mary is a symbol. It is not really a person. It is a symbol of a generation. And I think that this generation of Mary, this was the finest hour in your history. You personally didn't go through the Holocaust, but you identified yourself with those that did these activities of sending packages. It's not only what was in these packages, but it was the gesture. It exudes the message of human love and kindness, compassion, and the power of goodness.
A kindness done for no other reason than to brighten somebody's day. No politics, no religion, just love. You know, we send care packages out all the time in this country in the form of financial aid, supplies, necessities, and we don't often get to hear how much these things are appreciated. Maybe it's because we don't ask. I mean, we can assume that they were appreciated, right? There's no reason to ask for thanks, and we give because it's the right thing to do.
I really admire Americans, and I really think the people should have more respect for the simple American who is always concerned what is happening around and is ready to help.
Are you familiar with the butterfly effect? It's a concept that comes from the modern chaos theory developed by Edward Lorenz, hope I got his name right, an American mathematician and meteorologist. And he discovered that minor variations in the initial conditions of a weather model could lead to vastly different outcomes. But it's a lot more than that. And for the purposes of this podcast, let's just say that sometimes the things we do can have far-reaching effects because the world is interconnected in so many different ways. Do something out of love, and you could be sending out waves of kindness into the universe that reach far beyond our expectations, like a care package sent to a refugee camp nearly 80 years ago, resulting in a book written in 2023 that can bring a smile to a sick patient in a hospital and continue to pay dividends.
I received once a letter from a woman, a young woman. She said, when I read this book, this story to my grandmother, who is sick and not responsive, she smiled. I think that there are still alive people that were sending these packages. And my wish is that those people will read my book.
Dear Mary, a thank you letter from a World War II refugee to the people of America. A wonderful story for not only the people involved, but anyone who needs a smile or a reminder that kindness is a good thing. A loving gesture. It doesn't have to be on a grand scale, and it doesn't have to take place at Christmas time. It's always a good time to reach someone in any way that you can. Because, well, you just never know. Her name is Miriam Steiner-Aviezer, and you can see a photo of her with her doll if you visit the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. If you can't make it to D.C., just look up the museum's page on Facebook, and you can find it there. To find the book Dear Mary, just Google Dear Mary by Miriam, and you'll find it. We put a link to some of the online bookstores in the show's notes for you, as well as a link to the Facebook page that carries her picture. And that will do it for this edition of Newsgram from webtalkradio.com.